is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting growing guide right here on the MIgardener channel. I'm very excited about this growing guide because it's one that all of you have been begging me about ever since we started this little mini series on tropical growing guides, and that is chocolate. Chocolate is a ton of fun to grow, and it's hands down one of my favorite house plants to grow because of just how beautiful it is once it gets growing. The secret is not screwing anything up, because as soon as you screw something up, boy, it will let you know very quick. In fact, this is my fourth chocolate tree, and we finally got it past its seedling stage where it's actually forming bark, and that is a huge accomplishment. Once it starts forming bark, it really does not suffer from stress as much as a seedling does. So without further ado, I want to get into it because I know you all are going to love this one. So let's talk about how to grow chocolate. One of the nice things about these is that they grow very quickly. That's pretty much the saving grace about chocolate, is they grow so fast that the negatives that I'll explain in a second really can be overshadowed as long as you can keep the plant growing. So as I mentioned, some of the negatives. It is very finicky, extremely finicky. In fact, so finicky that if you mess one thing up, it will let you know very quickly in the form of dead and dying leaves. One of the biggest things about growing chocolate is humidity and soil. So I want to talk about watering, humidity, and soil first, because those are the three big hitters when it comes to growing. I keep wanting to say chocolate. So those are three big things to growing chocolate successfully. So the first one is soil. Quick tip here, we've got a little skirt that we made out of a construction grade trash bag. Just cut it into a square, cut a slit down the one side, and put it around the base of the plant. That's going to hold in some of that soil moisture a little bit without having to water as constantly, because chocolate does not like to be soaking wet. It really does not like that at all, in fact, because of its growing conditions. So we have this over top as almost like a little mulch layer, but it also helps to kind of hold in some heat as well, because it's black, it'll absorb heat, helps to kind of keep the soil a little warmer, and it just has all around benefits, which is nice. So that's why we have that. But the soil is actually really nice. It is actually, it's 1 part potting mix to 1 part sand to 1 part volcanic basalt. It's just ground basalt rock. And that does quite a few things. So the basalt adds the micronutrients that are found in soils that grow chocolate very well. These, when they're grown in Hawaii, are grown in they're grown in volcanic land. They have a lot of micronutrients. They have a lot of trace minerals and things like that. And that helps to make sure that there's good micronutrient content. The basalt also adds good drainage. Combine that with the sand, you have even better drainage, because chocolate does not like to be sitting in water. It's not a swampy tree. It's actually a tree that likes very well draining soil, rich in organic matter. And that is also what leads you to the other part of the potting mix that we use, which is just a regular potting mix that has coconut husk fiber or sphagnum peat moss, or a combination of both. I prefer a combination of both. I use Pro Mix, which has about a 1-to-1 ratio of coconut husk fiber to sphagnum peat moss. And that's going to be a really good mix. It's going to hold on to moisture well, but also allow any excess water to drain freely so it's not standing around the roots. So that's the soil. Now I want to talk about humidity, because humidity is the biggest reason why you'll have this dieback here. It just happens. There's really nothing you can do. There's nothing you can do to prevent it, at least if you're in Michigan. There's nothing you can do. You just get used to it, and you realize that it's going to happen. And the thing that you hope for is that the new growth exceeds the stressed old growth. And as long as that's happening, you're fine. The humidity of chocolate needs to be right around 70 to 80, sometimes even 90 degrees. So what we do is, since it's a house plant, we pretty much just keep it by a humidifier. We have a humidifier in our house that keeps our house humidity at right around 50 degrees. Any higher than that, you run the risk of condensation forming, and that can cause paint to bubble, it can cause mold and mildew, and you don't like that. So we have it at pretty much the max that you can have at your house, which is like around 50 degrees or 50% humidity. And we just assume that that's better than like 30 or 40, which is what it would be without a humidifier. And plus, you'll benefit from the extra humidity as well. It'll help your skin stay less dry in the winter, help you with dry eyes and your nose not being as stuffy. So there's benefits to having a humid house, but too humid is also not okay. So that's one of the things about growing chocolate, is that it needs a lot of humidity. In fact, in the summertime, when we move it out, we only move it out for about a month to a month and a half in the summer, and that's during the hottest, most humid part of summer when it can handle it. After that, even in July, it's not hot enough. So the end of July to August is when we move our tree out. And that's because the nighttime temperatures, even in early July, dip into the high 50s, low 60s, which is a little bit too cold for this chocolate tree. The next thing I want to talk about is watering. Watering is another reason why chocolate trees, I keep wanting to say coffee. Man, I don't know why. I've just got coffee on the brain. Probably because I've been so stoked about the coffee tree upstairs there. So the watering is very important for growing chocolate. As I stated, it grows in tropical environments, but you have it in a container. So what do? Well, in tropical environments like Hawaii, it rains all the time. I mean, it rains almost every day. So what do? Do you water it every day? Absolutely not. That's the tricky part. Watering a chocolate tree every day will yield in root rot and the plant dying. So what do? We water deeply about once a week. We water deeply because that allows the soil to dry out still while remaining really well watered. The soil moisture is retained when you have this mulch on top and a good quality potting mix. It'll retain that moisture to the point where the tree won't die, but it's also not going to have so much moisture that it's going to suffer from root rot. And that's all we can do in a container. Ideally, I'd love to have some land in Hawaii. I could just plant these trees and never have to worry about it, but that's not the case. So you can only do what you can do. And the fact of the matter is by watering about once a week, very deeply, in a pot of this size is a 2-gallon pot, I'll water about a half gallon and let it just drain totally through. It's got a water catchment on the bottom that will prevent water from running all over the floor, but it makes sure that the pot is super well watered. The next thing I want to talk about is pH. This is very important when it comes to growing chocolate because chocolate likes a slightly acidic soil. Most of your tropicals grow in an environment where there's a lot of organic matter. And when you have lots of organic matter, it causes a little bit of a slightly acidic environment. And so what we've done is we've actually amended the soil with just a little bit of rock sulfur. It's not a coarsely ground, like a powdered sulfur. It's just a pelletized sulfur that is a slow release, keeps it around 6.0 to 6.5, and that's a really good pH to have for your chocolate. The thing that you don't want is you don't want alkaline soil. Alkaline soil will result in even more dying back because the tree really won't be able to uptake the nutrients properly and you'll have even more stress. The reason why they also, on farms, they have slightly acidic soil is because they will actually take the chocolate husk itself, chop it up into little bits. They'll take the leaves, the dying leaves, they'll chop them off in like a chop and drop, and they drop everything at the base of the chocolate trees. And that is one way that they have a ton of organic matter that breaks down and adds a slight acidity to the soil. So that's how to grow, or that's the pH. That's not all to growing chocolate, but those are the big things. The next thing I want to talk about is fertilizer. They are very heavy feeders, which is also another reason why farmers that grow chocolate will do a lot of chop and drop because it helps to cut costs on their farm. But one way that you can provide nutrients is just by providing a very well-balanced fertilizer with slightly higher nitrogen in mind. We give all of our plants everything here on the channel. We give Trifecta Plus. That's all we use. But if we need a little extra nitrogen, we'll either use a tiny bit of extra blood meal or some fish emulsion just to make sure there's some good nitrogen going into the plant. Because when a plant grows really quickly, that means it's using nitrogen very quickly. And because it's mostly foliage we worry about the nitrogen the most. And so having a well-balanced fertilizer is important, but that nitrogen is the key component. So just make sure it's got that. We'll fertilize 2 times a year, sometimes 3, once the plant gets much taller and it's growing much, much quicker. At this age right here, We fertilize once in the spring, once in the fall. That's all we do at this age. Once it gets about 2 times this height, then it's really taking off quickly, and we've got it in a much bigger pot, like something like this 6-gallon pot here. We'll fertilize 3 times a year. We'll fertilize probably once in the spring, once in the summer, and once in the fall. And that way, it's got enough nutrients to really keep it going. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about is pruning. Chocolate will grow very, very, very large, 20, 30 feet tall. So it's very important to prune only when the tree is telling you to prune. We actually talked about this with our avocado growing guide as well. The tree will grow 5, 6 feet tall, and it will start to branch all along the little nodes, forming kind of a low-lying tree. And that's very important because you don't want the tree to get too tall in a house. It becomes impossible to move. There's not enough light, and there's really just, it's not very good to have a super tall tree as a house plant. So what we're going to do is at about 4 feet tall, we're just going to lop it right off. And by that point, there should be several other lateral growth points that will act as new branches that will help to produce new leaves, help keep that plant growing and maturing without having it get much taller. And in talking about that, I mentioned sunlight. So it's very difficult to light a very tall tree. So how much sunlight does a chocolate tree need? A chocolate tree needs around, and this is very speculative because of how they're grown. They're usually grown as an understory crop in tropical environments, so they are supposedly not that sunlight hogging. But in my experience in Michigan and in indoor environments, you've got to give them a lot of sunlight because they might grow as an understory crop in Hawaii, but the fact of the matter is they don't have the same conditions here in Michigan. And so what I find is the more sunlight I can give it, the better. In fact, when I move this outside, I move it in full sun where it gets 11 hours of full, direct, beautiful sun. And that makes sure that the plant stays growing and there's really no stress because if I had it in like 4.5, 5 hours of sun, sure in Hawaii that might be fine in like an understory crop, but it gets a lot of filtered sun as well in Hawaii. Through those leaves, it gets a lot of that filtered sun. But honestly, I've never had much luck giving it that much sun. I just haven't. So when I gave it more sun, it seemed to do better here. So that's one of my recommendations that, you know, could be true, could not be true. It's based on experience is what I'm telling you. So that's really all there is to growing chocolate. Like I said, it's very tricky, it's very hands-on, but it's also very rewarding. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you learned something new. Let me know in the comments box below if you've ever tried growing coffee or wanted to. I mean chocolate. God dang it, I mean chocolate. Chocolate. It's Theobroma Cocoa. So kind of sounds like coffee. I don't know. Let me know if you ever wanted to grow chocolate in the comments box below. And as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel reminding you to grow big or go home. We'll catch you all later. See ya.